something like that, but there's none of that. Hello, we are live. All right, first, let's adjust our chat. Make sure you can see the chat screen in case people start asking you specifically questions, and then you can answer them. Awesome. All right. Just making sure that if you've got the window open that you've muted. Whoa! Oh, there's lots of people. Oh, there's lots of people. Oh my gosh, there's lots of people.
I told you they were lined up before we even started.
That's fabulous. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll say a quick hello to Amy. Allorah, you've written in here. Claire. Well, Jessi, you're here as well. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. See glitter. Oh, fantastic. Everyone's here. Everyone's here. Right. So let's get into it, folks. Thank you so much for joining us at our reboot of Spread This Witches. For those of you who hadn't had the opportunity to chime in when this was a current thing back in the day, we are witches who like to use tarot and who like to just talk a lot about it, and emphasis on the weird and wonderful and the unique approach. And I've got to tell you, we've got a great lineup of people and a special guest today. So I would like to introduce the lovely J.R. Rivera, creator of the Beautiful Creatures Tarot. Yay! We've also got some Allorah and some Jessi, who you would both know, but let's give JR an opportunity to introduce himself, speak out loud about his awesomeness, and get you all excited about his new deck. Go!
Well, my name is, as some of you know, my name is J.R. Rivera. I live in an author, Beautiful Creatures Tarot, with very long, extensive work, a labor of love, as I would consider it, to put together, and just the thrill of the honor of working with a world-renowned illustrator. I am beyond starstruck to work with Jasmine Beckett Griffiths,
yes.
Given her extensive.
So I have a question already. Can I ask it?
Sure.
Okay, so tell us the difference between the Beautiful Creatures original first edition and the 2.0.
Well, there's some noticeable similarities, and there's some that are not all that noticeable. Like, for example, the cards, they're gilded. Well, not so much gilded, but they have metallic edges around it, and they're in a particular color. They're not pewter, and they're not gold. They're not silver or gold. They're in a particular color that matches the theme of the book. Also, there are 5 new images, totally new images. 4 of them being the ones in the card, such as the major and minors, and the other one being the back of the card. The bonus cards stayed the same. The 2 bonus cards, they stayed the same. At one point, I wanted to change the whole images to new images, but I said, no, you know what? Just rather leave it by itself. The book has, I believe, 10 or 11 more pages extra. It's a bit heavier than the first edition, and there are approximately 16 spreads. 16 spreads.
What? Get out now.
16 spreads.
That's
for
wonderful.
Those of you out there who like to spread it, you have to choose from. Woo!
We're a little pervy around here.
I should have rated this R or something.
I think people get the idea pretty soon.
Yeah, anything that Avalon and I do together is rated R, so just be aware of that when you watch this.
From this moment moving forward, it's all R rated.
Oh man. Okay, who else has a question? Together is rated R, so just be aware of that when you watch.
Moving forward, it's all R rated. I want to get a gander at this new Beautiful Creatures, and I'm going to reach out for there it is, just there, right there. That's my copy of the Beautiful Creatures, the first edition. So I want to see this new one. Let's see this new one. I'm just gonna up and reach.
The front cover.
All right. As though I were doing a review. It's a really sturdy box, folks. And look at how nicely it opens. Look at that. Look at that sexy picture inside. So this is the caliber of the book we're talking about with upgrades. This is the first edition. So here we have it. So we've got some nice representations. They're not too big, they're not too small. I think it's a good use of the page, really. And upright and reversed meanings. So good introductions. Look at that artwork.
It's so beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
It's like, it's absolutely stunning.
And the backing of the book itself, like, it's all art. It's not just a book, it's all art. Like, from the front to the back to the middle pages, it's all art. So beautiful, beautiful job on that one.
Avalon, hold up just a second. So while we're talking about the art, I want to ask JR, did you, when you were coming up with the concepts for the cards and getting your divine inspiration for creating the deck, is this something that you saw the images first, or is this something that you had your concepts and you went to Jasmine and said, hey, this is the concept I'm thinking of, what can you do with this card?
The way that I sorted it out was I said, okay, I need the Three of Swords. Basically, the Three of Swords is a symbol of daggers being nailed to a heart, being stabbed to a heart. So I looked around, you know, Jasmine's portfolio, and I saw, I believe in the Three of Airs, there's this girl holding up a heart, and there's a nail stuck to it. So that reminded me of the Three of Swords, so I got that one. So there are some that do have similarity to the Rider-Waite, and there's some that don't. The ones that don't, those are the ones that I got stuck, really stuck with those. But I told Jasmine, basically what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna borrow images from your portfolio and make them into a tarot deck. You know, like see an image, get that one, and write it up, and that'll be the tarot deck. But let me tell you, I mean, it was very difficult. I mean, given that she has over I think I went ahead and revised 250 images artwork from Jasmine. And in the end, I had to pick 80. Like, that's basically, it was daunting, but it was very, I don't know, it was like, now that I look back at it, you know, it's like some sort of accomplishment, because I had these images and I said, okay, I want this card. A week later, no, you're gone. I'm going to take this next card. 2 weeks later, you know what? You can come back. I'm going to put you back in your place. So it was, I felt like I told people, I felt like a cast of Jasmine's images were the actresses, and I needed actresses for my film. Next card. 2 weeks later, you know what? You can come back. I'm going to put you in your place.
Somebody's video's running. Oh, there we go.
I'm sorry, that was probably me. This is my first time ever doing this, ever. So.
Oh, it's okay. You just want to pause the video.
I did. I was like, oh no. Video going back and forth. Okay, it's all fine now. Everything's fixed. It's good.
all good. Yeah, and I always wonder how authors, like, when they get together with artists, how they come up, like, do the concepts come first, or does the art come first, or how does that work, or stuff like that. So, and I know that JR, you had specific cards you had us pull out to do comparisons, so I want to see them. I want to see the new ones.
Okay.
I'm excited.
This is the Eight of Cups.
Oh, wow, that's totally different. Okay, so this is the original.
Okay. Softer.
Yeah, as you can.
Yeah, a lot softer.
I think I like the. Hold it up again, Allorah. Hold yours up again. I like the new one. I really like the new one.
I know.
The new one's a little bit shut your face, beautiful, like very elusive.
Okay, what does the back look like, JR?
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's neat.
I like the new back.
Yeah.
Softer and darker.
For sure. Okay, what's the next one?
The next card, it's the wheel.
Okay. Hold it up.
Show me what you got.
This is the original. Oh, wow. Okay, so the new one is a butterfly fairy with a Merkaba with all of that numerology on it. That's pretty excellent, I have to say.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
It's also
I think I like the new one better.
Yeah,
What did you
Can we do this?
wheel.
What?
At the beginning, I didn't feel that the original wheel card indicated an actual wheel. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I guess because of the big round black thing that's in front or in back of her. I don't remember. Can you pull up the wheel card, please?
Ah, yes.
I can't. Mine are all mixed in together. They're in a box.
That thing, yeah, that thing, the wheel thing. I don't know. I when I was working, when I was going to replace the wheel card, I said I am not feeling the original wheel card. So I went ahead and, you know how they say that the wheel, you take turns and destiny, and you know what you get is what you're going to get. That's what I think of dice as well. So you roll the dice, it's like you're rolling a wheel.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that for sure.
I love that.
Cradling it like one of the fates almost.
Yeah, Jessi, go ahead and say what you were saying earlier because I got cut off.
I was saying actually just what JR said. I said that reads the wheel much better than the original one did. And it looks like she's cradling it almost like she's one of the fates, but like a much more like darker kind of mysterious fate and not quite like a crone fate. You know what I'm saying?
I do like that. I do like that because I've got a bit of a fascination with the weavers. For the Wheel of Fortune. I love that concept of the weaver, and I love the concept of the fates. So for me, they work so much better from just my more spiritual point of view, I guess. But yeah, I think it's beautifully readable. I think it actually, the position of the original wheel in the back throws the symbolism sort of behind, and it's not the first thing that you see. And now that it's this Merkaba with this numerology in front of it, and it's really cradled, there's this element of control to it as well, which I really like.
That's a good point too, because as we're talking about the wheel, like you guys said, it's like roll of the dice, but then at the same time, it's not. And so being that it's cradled, that makes total sense. Like that just works.
It's true. There's an element of control in it, I think, mostly because if you're going to roll the dice, then you have to make a conscious decision to choose to do so, right? You make a conscious decision to change things. You pick up the dice. It's an action, and then you release it. And so that moment of release to me is that placing things in the hands of fate. But up until a point, there was a lot of control.
Right. Exactly.
As for the Eight of Cups, I decided to change it as well because I wasn't the first one. The first one just looked like she was coming out of a house or a club. But here in this image, she looks more sad, more with melancholia. And she's just walking away from everything along with her butterfly and I believe fish as well.
It's more so watery for sure.
And I figured that the water element, the element of the art, the water, I felt that it was more in tune with the cups. So that's
right,
and that is
right. Because this one, now, if this didn't have a label, this totally says swords are air to me, not exactly water.
I agree with you 100%. It's definitely got like a much like sharper kind of energy to it than the watery energy. So,
right.
More cards that I am not going to show. No, they are the Lovers and the Devil card.
Ooh.
Now, those took drastic image changes. They were changed drastically compared to the first edition. But I'm going to let the people buy a copy and have them see it for themselves.
Well, yeah, you got to keep something back for sure.
All right, folks, we've got some technical issues here. A lot of people are saying that they can't hear us clearly. So if you've got the opportunity to plug in a what's a majiggy? What do you call it? Headphones. Yeah.
Let me see.
That might help to sharpen things up just a smidge. So if you've got them, Pause break. Let's go do that.
I have headphones, but I don't have a microphone. Does it matter?
Can anybody hear me?
Okay, my earbuds are in the room with my sleeping child, so I have to go my noise cancelling headphones.
You'll just look baller. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you.
I can't even see where to plug these bad boys in.
And I'm only putting one in because I'm a rebel.
Can everyone hear?
You know, I forgot. Yes.
They're saying mostly it's you, Avalon.
Oh. Oh, mine's is the only problem. Can everyone hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I love your headphones. Oh my God, I need to buy you new ones.
Dude, you have no idea. These are my international travelers. When I put these on, I can't hear my baby screaming. I can't hear the noise of the engine. And they were like, I'm not joking. These were $800.
Holy shit. Jesus.
You look like a record producer. It works for you.
Yeah, I'm boss, baby. Alrighty. I can't hear my own voice though. That's weird.
Well,
That's
I don't know
wild.
if did it improve your sound? Oh yeah, it did. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Right, let's get to it. Oh, this is really distracting me now. You know what? I'm gonna have to do an earphone check, mostly because I think I'm gonna have to tiptoe into my daughter's room and get my earbuds because I think they'll be a bit better. Hold on.
Okay.
Continue talking. Talk
Okay.
amongst yourselves.
Okay. Jessi, do you have any questions for JR?
Yes. What inspired you to choose this specific artist? What was it about her work that spoke to you in a way that other artists didn't?
How can I explain and say it delicately without stepping on anybody's toes? But one thing that I noticed.
I didn't mean to set you up.
Okay. One thing that I noticed about Jasmine was that she's very down to earth. She's I would say loves people, embraces people, embraces art, embraces talent, and I guess he poured into the artwork, and that is what called to me. So the artwork basically spoke of who she was and what she does. And also the artwork, one thing that I loved about the artwork was that it is not dark per se, like the Deviant Moon or the Bohemian Gothic Tarot, but it's shadowy, but then it's friendly, it's inviting. I would say sort of like a PG-13 horror movie. That it's
I get that. It's like sweet. It's almost like sweet goth.
Yes.
It's kind of the vibe
dark,
that I get.
bittersweet, not light, not dark, but shadow. That's one thing that called to me, and especially I have a thing for eyes. Like when I meet people, I notice their eyes. That's one thing that really calls my attention towards people. And that is what her characters have. They have really, really big goo goo gaga eyes. And what I love about it is that you can see the color in their eyes, like hazel, blue, green, white. So that's what really called me. Her artwork really called me. And I've always been a fan of acrylic painting. Mm-hmm. I've always admired that type of art better than watercolor. I find watercolor messy in some ways. But you know, and I'm not gonna mention any tarot artists who do watercolor because you know I don't want I don't want to step on any toes.
But you know what, like JR, like you bring up a good point with this whole sweet goth, dark but light, because this has been a discussion, at least on my Facebook lately, is that there has to be a melding of the two. It can't be one extreme or the other, and that's what I really like about this deck in particular.
Yes, like in the deck, you will see that there are cards that are friendly. There are cards that are, I guess, aloof. The characters, the art is aloof, distant, and there are cards that are just in between both of them. So it is a blend of a little bit of here, a little bit of there, kind of like a cake with ingredients.
Kind of like a
So that's,
I want cake.
or a martini shake on the rocks, you know, mixed with lemon.
Perfect.
Hey,
I'll take
cheers to you.
But yes,
Oh my
and that
gosh.
is why I chose her artwork, because I mean I just love her artwork, and you know, it just speaks volumes. I mean, there's been people that say, oh, the big eyes look creepy, oh, they have serious faces, they look very sad. Yeah, well, I mean, art is art, you know. Art
That's
is art.
exactly right.
And
That's exactly right.
you know, and it's like I told, and of course there's been people who have said, I don't like the Beautiful Creatures Tarot because of this and that. I like it because of this and that. And people ask me, how do you feel when people say that they don't like your tarot deck? And I tell them, to be honest, I could give two rats flying behinds what people think, because you know,
Yes.
I made it and created it for myself, you know. It was a creation that I did. I mean, it's not like I created it for individual people. So what they say really is irrelevant to me. What they say. I mean, and there's been critics.
Oh, so I was just going to say, so JR is going on record saying he gives 0 fucks if you do not like his tarot deck because it is for him. And he appreciates if you like it. That was not the point.
That's a direct quote. That's a direct quote. 0 fucks. 0 fucks. Hashtag 0 fucks.
Oh my god. That's so good. I just love that kind of, you know, that kind of idea. And you know, people will respond to what it is that you put out there. You don't know who it's going to be. And there's always going to be detractors. You know, there's always going to be someone who doesn't necessarily jive with your taste or your sense of style or what have you. It's one of those things where it's important to, you know, pay attention to the people who do, and pay attention to the way they appreciate it, and just kind of, if people don't jive with it, just be like, that's cool, and that's absolutely fine.
That's exactly right. I've got to say this, sorry to cut you off, but I've got to say this because I'm impassioned about this. Tarot is an amazing tool for self-discovery, for life mapping, for spiritual development, for manifestation work, for meditation. I mean, it is a all-round holistic tool that can literally, if you find the right deck, it can be life-changing. So if only one person purchases this deck and it changes their whole life, that's a hell of an impact to have on an individual.
Yes, and I mean, I've had people on Facebook send me messages like, you know, the book is very well written. It's as if I could hear your voice. And I tell them, how can you hear my voice through the book? And I don't know, it's like an empath connection between your writing and my empathy. So it's like they can hear my voice.
Beautiful.
I just mean I like on so many different levels. It's like, and then I had somebody else tell me, like, I love the way you wrote the divinatory meanings, the way what the cards mean. You sounded so much like my father who passed away 5 years ago. So I was like, wow. I was like, oh my goodness. And she said, it's like the way you wrote the divinatory meanings, and when I read them out loud, it's like I hear my father just telling me things, you know, cutting to the chase and being direct with me.
Oh, that's
so
beautiful.
That, you know, yes.
That's amazing.
You know, so.
And speaking of cutting to the chase, I'm going to share my favorite card in your deck with everybody. I have it in a frame. I actually framed some cards from the deck this week because I needed to reconnect with it because I knew this broadcast was coming up. And anyways, what? And Jasmine Beckett Griffith is one of my favorite artists, period. I own multiple of her decks. But, and especially this deck, is really special to me because this is the only tarot deck that she's been involved with and that has you as the author. And so, and this particular card is awesome because the Strength card is one of my favorite cards in any tarot deck. I don't know why. It just speaks to me. And aside from that, you included this image and it has Kali in it, which I have worked with Kali. And she is a tough bitch if you have never worked with her. But this is the Fortitude card. I don't know if you guys can see it real well, but it's in a frame. And if you guys have trouble connecting with your decks, I highly recommend this little exercise because I put them on my nightstand or on my dresser or whatever, and they just connect to me that way. Why are you laughing, Avalon? Why are you laughing?
Because I remember when I first introduced you to the framing method.
You did.
Freaking years ago, and I'm like, just put it in a frame. That's what my grandma told me to do. And you're like, oh. And then you put it in a frame. You're like, yes. Oh, yes.
For sure, for sure. Do you guys have any particular favorites?
I've got a lot of decks, so I'm going to flip through some cards right now.
I'm flipping through some. I
have a question. What caused you to pluralize the elements?
I guess you could say I was being a little rebel and wanted to play and butcher the English language, basically. Revamp it, you know, like you know how people spell magic, M-A-G-I-C. Well, some people say A-M-A-G-I-C-K or K, or some people put Q. So I just wanted to blend and mix around with the English language, kind of make it like a wacky, sort of crazy, Beautiful Creatures Tarot deck. So
it is Beautiful Creatures. This is one of my favorites here. There.
Why? Because it has dead things?
Yes, because it has.
I knew it.
It has dead things.
I would say my favorite card is the Death card.
Really?
That's one of my I think it's one of my favorite cards. Actually, did you know that originally the Death card?
Originally?
When here's a little trivia. When I was in the process of picking a Death card, you know who I chose as the Death card? At one point, it was Elizabeth Bathory, the Blood Countess. I don't know if you remember. Yeah, yes. She was chosen as that. She was chosen as a Death card. But then I said, you know what? That's very deep down in history, very dark and macabre. So yeah, she's out. So I decided to replace her with this one.
You didn't want a bloody Death card. You decided against it.
Yeah. I mean, I figured kids were gonna get a hold of it and they're gonna Google Elizabeth Bathory and read about her. No, I mean, believe me, I would laugh to death if kids, like, oh my God, Elizabeth Bathory, she was horrible. But no, I didn't want kids being traumatized, so it's like I just went ahead and did without Elizabeth Bathory.
I really like. I now feel inspired to use that image of Elizabeth in any future decks I create. Yes. I feel that really resonates with my inner macabre.
Avalon's like, I don't care if kids buy my decks, I'm doing this anyway.
Okay. There is a topic that JR wanted to talk about specifically, so I'm going to go ahead and get into that because it's on the more serious side of deck creation, and that is publishing pros and cons. So give us the juicy details. What's good about it? What's bad about it? And if you had to start over.
Well, okay. The good thing with being published is, of course, exposure. You just sit back and you have a group of people do everything for you: the editing, the distribution, all that stuff, the promotion. The bad part, I would say, is that some publishers are out to keep the rights to your work. They don't want you to have the rights. When they keep the rights, they have more control over it, and they get to pay you lousy royalties. Okay? Yes, exactly. And the minute when you write a book and that book falls into the publisher's hands and it is edited and, you know, the syntax and grammar, it is all composed, it is all mixed around, the author automatically loses the rights to the writing. So yes, you do lose a lot when publishing. Yes, when you publish, you do lose a lot. So that's why I tell future authors who want to be published, they tell me, what's the one thing I should do or consider if I'm going to publish my work? One, keep for your rights, because there are some publishers, I mean, you know, full disclosure, there are some publishers who keep the rights to your work and they shelf the rights, and 5-10 years from now, whenever they feel like it, they'll release it. Keep it shelved.
Oh, okay.
And you really have no say in it, like, okay, you know, you promised me that you were going to publish it in 2 years. Yeah, well, we kept the rights. It's shelved. We'll publish it when we want to publish it, not when you want to publish it. So that's yes, that is the nasty part. That is the nasty part of publishing.
I never even considered that.
Oh, there's a little bit of it. This particular first edition was published with Schiffer. Is your second edition also published through Schiffer?
Yes, it is with Schiffer.
Okay. And how would you say that Schiffer treated you as one of their authors?
They treated me well, with respect. I mean, I guess they were nice, especially being a young author. I published this tarot deck under the age of 30, under 30. So basically, for Schiffer, and a friend pointed it out to me, she said, did you know that with Schiffer, you're like the first youngest author to publish a book, a tarot deck, in collaboration with any other authors?
That's incredible. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So cool.
And also, and I guess for Schiffer, they took a chance on it. I know they did. And I guess they were surprised. They were bombarded with the success that it had. And, you know, the promotion and the pushing, how it's, you know, been talked about, the recognition and awards it has won in the past. So all of that stuff, I guess, I mean, and it even surprises me that to be distributed around the world, people from around the world got it. You know, like I said, it did win awards for being my first tarot deck. And some people who release their first tarot or oracle deck don't really have that luxury to win awards and win, you know, for it to be acclaimed or anything. So
that's beautiful.
Well done.
Yes.
Congratulations.
So basically, JR is hot shit, people.
Yes. He didn't need 5 tries. He just did it the first time.
Right?
That's exactly right. When you've got it, you've got it, guys. When you've got it, you have got it. That's it. It's a lot of magic.
I mean, and
I'm flipping through it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, it's just magic. You know, it's just a lot of magic.
And don't get me, you know, there were some people in the tarot community, you know, some tarot readers, and there were some people who I knew who said, oh, Jasmine's not going to lend you her artwork. No, she's too big of an artist. She's not going to work with a newbie like you. And what do you know? So there was a lot of retaliation. There was a lot of put down when I was working with this tarot deck. So
oh, people are so jealous, aren't they?
And
that's what it is. It's jealousy too, I think.
And, you know, and it's funny though, because, I mean, there's been people, I would say people in the tarot community and people who I've known. I mean, at the beginning, before I even had the Beautiful Creatures published, they would talk to me, text me, tag me on tarot cards, look at this, look at that. When they found out that I was working with Jasmine and the success that I had, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll back away. That's it. So I guess at the peak of your success, you really know who people are. You really do know who people are.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out in the open, you know, I'm just being honest, you know, I'm being honest. I mean, I wasn't going to come here to y'all's talk train and just sugarcoat things. No.
We don't like that. We do not like that. We like for people to be real on here. I mean,
that would sort of go
cigarette,
against me.
drinking a beer and throwing the F-bomb. I mean, hello.
It's empowering just to put it out there.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
You know, and regarding the tarot deck, I did change the titles, as you can see, 3 of Pentacles. So they've been changed, and people complain. You know, I found it so ridiculously funny. I mean, like tarot decks have a freaking book for you to understand the authors and the creators' point of view. People just got my book and tossed it and started reading with the cards, and then they complain, I don't understand them. They don't relate to the Rider-Waite. Yeah, that is why there is a book, a 168-page book for you to read, for you to do notes. That is why Schiffer was nice enough to put, let's see what they put here. They were nice enough to put this, to make notes, to write notes. I mean, and then some are college graduates, and it's like, really, you're a college graduate and you can't read a book? Wow.
Well,
wow.
Yeah, like the thing about tarot decks and books that I always tell people is, you know, it's good to learn or to intuitively feel from the artwork, but if you have questions, always go back to the book, because the author, when they were divinely inspired to create the deck, got certain things as well. So it always helps to go back to both. Yeah, for sure.
And it's like I told people about the book. It's like, do not follow the book too hard. I mean, use it as a reference. Use your intuition to read the cards. But if you're stuck and you need some source of inspiration, then there's the book. You know, look at the page. Because there was this one girl who did a review and she hated the Lover's card from the first edition. Like, she hated it with a passion. And I don't know if I told her, but I said, okay, first of all, the Lover's card is not about lovers or F buddies, you know? It's not about that. It's about
you can say fuck on this show. I promise you it will be okay.
You know, the lovers is not about actual lovers, you know, lusty lovers. I mean, it is about, to me, I see it as decisions, a fork, an ultimatum, you know? That's the way that I see it. And people were so mad. It's like, it's not true to the Lover's card, and she looks pissed and he looks like upset, and but you're not getting the point. Read the damn book. But okay, fine.
Read the damn book, people.
Hashtag read the damn book.
Dude, that's a call to a generation.
Yeah, I mean, to me, when I would see those videos of them complaining, I was like, oh my god, if I was your professor, I would so quiz you on all 80 cards in 1 week. Let's see how much you
cool.
But do you know what? I've got to say this because I'm a read the book and not read the book. It really depends. If the artwork for me goes too far out of, you know, traditional scopes, whether it be Thoth or Marseille or Rider-Waite, then of course I'm going to read the book. It stands to reason, because I want to know what the artist and the author were thinking when that was created. But this is what I think. The reason why there's a little issue here is because reading the book is actually doing the work. If you really want to connect with the deck and you really want to learn it and you really want those questions that come up as you're using the deck answered, if you want that to happen and you want to be informed, then you have to read the book, and that is doing the work. And not everyone likes to do the work, people.
Especially now.
Sometimes they want a YouTube video. Sometimes they want a blog. Sometimes they want a little stuff. They want someone to paraphrase it, put it in a meme, you know, put it up on Instagram and some like little, you know, shots and stuff like that, because attention spans are actually lessened in today's society.
Yes.
You know, it's a book is a dying thing, unfortunately.
It makes me so sad.
I mean, and I figure maybe if book is a dying thing, hey, I can audio record an audiobook if they'd like. So there's, you know.
That's a great idea.
Idea?
If a book is a dying thing, then I'm a dying thing too.
I'm right behind
like one
you.
Of a dying
I'm a dying thing as well.
I love my books and I can't help it.
I mean, nothing wrong with Kindles or anything, but I really don't read off Kindles. I mean, I need to feel a book, you know, an actual book, you know?
Yes.
I mean, not so much a Kindle, because I mean, I don't know, it just takes out the fun, you know, reading a Kindle and reading a book.
You don't, you're holding it. It doesn't. It's not romantic. It's not fucking romantic. Let's just say it. You're not.
It's
not there and bending the pages, and it's, you know, you're not. You've got this lit screen in your face, more screens in your face, more electronics in your face. You know, it's not awesome. It's not awesome. I travel a lot, right? So I stand out on planes as one of the very, very, very few people rocking my book because everyone's got their phone or they've got their iPads, and I'm like, look, motherfuckers.
Actual book.
I'm the same way, and there's and with books, there's a smell.
Yeah,
there's a smell that a Kindle will never, ever, ever replace.
Ever. I mean, the only smell that will come out of a Kindle is burnt wire, and that's about it. That's about it, you know. Out of a book, you smell the print, you know, it's fresh out of the print. So, I mean, I've been inhaling this book for a while, like since I got it. That I'm almost just like sucking the letters out of the book, you know. I mean, it's just
amazing. When you have an actual book, it's not going to die on you either. Have you ever? Because I've read from Kindles before, and I'm like, oh shit, I have 5% left. I'm not going to be able to fucking read anymore if I can't plug it in. like, god damn it. Are you kidding me right now? You have an actual book? What happened to you?
It's happened to me when I read Kindles and the battery dies. I lose interest in the book and won't read it till like next week. I don't know, just because the battery dying just killed my trip.
That's it. You've got to be in the reader zone, right? If you're in the reader zone and your battery dies, and you're just like a bit like, what the fuck? What do I do now? I've got my tea. I've got some time, and I've got no battery. And what the fuck do I do now? You know? Okay. It's so sad. Like, I have actually been forced into the position of having to purchase a book.
Regarding the tarot deck,
I mean,
one thing about the tarot deck is that and I was telling people, some people told me there's testimonials. I had 3 very talented and very popular, you know, tarot authors and creators, you know, actually give me testimonials for my book. And people were telling me, what do they say? I'm not going to read the testimonials, but there are testimonials by Eric C. Dunn, Shiro Marchetti, and Benabel Wen. So I managed to get.
And let me tell you something.
She's my bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Cyril Marchetti is my man, so that speaks highly to me. Like, his decks were the first decks I ever connected with, started with. Well, no, that's not true. I had one when I was from the time I was 9 till I was like 21 or so. But anyways, the point is that as an adult, he is the first artist that I was able to really get into. And so to me, that's like, if he gives you his stamp of approval, by God, you know your shit. That's all I need.
Also, there's this is what the cards look like. Let me see if you can see the light, the edges.
They're purple.
Mm-hmm.
Holy
purple.
Shit.
The color of the witches, psychic, the third eye.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why, but I found this edition more readable for me than the first edition. I really don't know what's up with the second edition that is more readable. It like the first edition would whisper, the second edition screams. I don't know if I make sense, but that's the way that I feel the second edition. Sort of like people.
You make total sense.
It's like people tell me about the second edition. How would you describe it? Somebody had asked me, using a tarot card, how would you describe the first edition? How would you describe the second edition? Well, the first edition was like a chance that I took. So for me, it's like the Fool card. The second edition is the Judgment card. It revived. It got a second chance. It got a second printing, second edition. So to me, I see it as the Judgment card. I don't know if that even makes sense.
That does make total sense, but I'm going to interrupt you for a second. So I'm going to ask the audience that's watching, if you guys have any questions for any of us, please feel free to put it in the chat box, because we're going to get to that stuff. And in the meantime, I have another question for JR, because this is something that the 4 of us talked about in a private chat, but I want to ask him on the spot, see what he says. So when are you going to make a spread book, buddy? Because I'm waiting for that.
Well, soon, in the distant future. That's as much as I can say, you know.
Fabulous.
But I mean,
in the meantime, just Facebook message me and tell me about your new spreads, and I'll test them for you. How about that?
Actually, I have been drafting a tarot spread book for the past 2 years. Slowly but surely, I've been drafting, a spread book, but I mean, it's still undercover in the download DL, discreet.
Mm-hmm.
But so yes, I've thought about it. I mean, it's not the first time that somebody has asked me, when are you going to do a spread book? You should really do a spread book. And that's something that I never considered doing. I mean, I was like, geez, like so many spreads, like, wow. And then somebody told me, what are you talking about? So many spreads. Your companion book has like over 1 million spreads. It doesn't, but it has several spreads. And there's the reason also, I told people the reason why I added a lot of spreads to my companion book is because okay, nothing wrong with it, but this is just personal taste. I really dislike a book that just gives you 3 typical, ordinary, cliche, vague, mundane spread, the Celtic Cross, 3-card spread, the 1-card spread, and that is it. I mean, there is no way to take your tarot deck for a test drive. That's what to me, the tarot deck is the car and the spreads are the freeway, the expressway. You need to take them for a ride. You need to explore the spreads. And whenever a book has like under 5 spreads and they're the same ones that you saw in a book 2 years ago, that kind of just loses creativity, in my opinion.
Okay, we've got a question. Claire wants to know, how do I get a signed copy?
How do what?
How does she get a signed copy?
Well, I'm around April, somewhere mid-April, I am going to open a pre-ordering website where people can buy a copy of the Beautiful Creatures Tarot autographed. So there may be some goodies included, like a bag, some incense, something. There's going to be something in there. But yes, I will open a page around April and I'll be selling autographed copies.
That's wonderful. We've got some questions here and I'm just going to go through them really quickly. So Sweet Susie has said the 2nd edition has the purple edging, right? So that's a yes to the 2nd edition purple edging because she's got to buy it. Okay, signed copy. Pamela McGee ordered hers. Sea Glitter Inc. would like to know if the guidebook is in color.
That's a good one.
You know what? Let's see here. Hold on.
Yes.
Woo! So we've got color representations in the guidebook. That's a yes to color representations in the guidebook. What else have we got? Right, that's right. It's beautiful.
Raw, black and white.
Raven Song. Hi, Raven Song. Raven Song would like to know if you'll be at the, I don't even know how to, INATS in Denver in June.
International.
I believe it's a tarot event. Regarding that, I mean, I was gonna be there. I actually had my everything ready. I was gonna book my flight to go to Denver for actually I think it was the Cover Awards that I was gonna go to Denver for, and then the tarot event that was held in June. But will I go this year? Maybe. I still don't know, but maybe.
I've got to ask, does your publishing company, does Schiffer, send you to places to promote your deck? Do they high fly you around the place?
No, I mean, they don't, because and I've always No, they don't. Publishers don't really send people because it's I guess they have to invest on their trip, hotels, and such things like that when they could be investing it in other things. So no, they don't send out their authors anywhere. Yes. Oh yeah, keep that in mind. Yes, very good to know as well.
Good to know. And I have a few questions because this is, after all, Spread This Witches. So I would like to get down to some witchy goodness. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Let's talk about how you personally, JR, use your tarot deck that weaves in elements of a deeper spirituality. So just describe your relationship in a spiritual sense with your own deck, with your creation, with your beautiful creations, 1 and 2, depending on which one is most, you know, in your mind right now.
Well, when I created the first edition and I got my advanced copy and I was taking it out for a test drive, I was like, I felt like I was driving a Ferrari. I mean, it was like my, you know, it was my baby, you know, and so I was taking it for a test drive, and there were times where the tarot deck, the first edition, got sassy and said here, but anyways, I had to take it. So, you know, and so that was a relationship that I had with the first deck. You know, it was like I would ask for a reading, it got a little sarcastic and a little sassy, just put it, you know, just threw it back into the shelf. A week later, got it, and okay, you're gonna be mean, you're gonna be like a psychopathic ex-girlfriend, or you're gonna be the good sister. So, you know, which are you gonna be? So that was a relationship that I had with my tarot deck, like a spoiled, sassy little sister, you know.
Ah.
So
Okay.
I mean,
I love it.
She gave me the truth, you know, straight and dry, you know, no cutting to the chase, cutthroat, you know, as I would say. And that's what I like about tarot decks, where they speak the truth. And I guess a tarot deck can speak to you. I don't know. I've always figured a tarot deck talks to you the way the creator would talk to you. That's what I've always thought. You know, that's what I've always felt, because there's been some tarot decks where I read with them and it's like, yeah, you're just so vague and mundane. Guess what? The creator is very vague and mundane at speaking. So, you know, I don't know. It's just, I cannot explain it, but I guess you can tell a lot and pick up a lot from a tarot deck. You know, the creator's energy. That's what I've always believed.
Okay, on that note, since we're talking about that, before you created your deck, what deck was like your go-to? What was like your gotta have
my deck to go to? My deck to go to was Gothic Tarot.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah, that and the Deviant Moon was also my to-go deck.
Ah, that's a great one. That's a great one. God.
People would tell me, why do you love? Why do you love the Deviant Moon so much? I like the moon. I admire the moon, and just as psychotic, as crazy, as weird, as obscure and absurd that the characters in the Deviant Moon are, I guess that's the way my mentality works in a way. You know? So I can make a psychological connection with the Deviant Moon. So I
love that deck so much. It's so like creepy. It's perfectly creepy. It's perfectly creepy. I've had such great experiences with it.
So I guess those were my to-go decks. Of course, I mean, there was always actually, when I started reading tarot at the age of 13, I mean, this deck was my I would say my first love, my first lover. It was the Atelia Tarot. I don't know if any of you have heard of it.
I have heard of it.
Absolutely.
I have not.
Yes. Ouch. No, it is that was my first tarot deck, the one that I would go to, the Atelia Tarot. And it's in, you know, there's a French version and there's a Spanish version, so and I own both. So that was my first
and
to-go deck.
You speak both too, apparently.
Yes.
As we found out earlier.
And yeah, so those were that was my tarot deck, the first one that I started with. Everybody starts out with the Rider-Waite, the Thought, the Maricel, but I started off with a totally different tarot deck, very different, nothing like the Maricel, the Thought, the Golden Dawn, the Rider-Waite. Mine was totally off. 78 cards, but more of an oracle is the way that I would describe the Atelia Tarot.
Yeah, so, I recognize the imagery. I recognize it. I'm not as ignorant as I thought.
That must be really liberating to start off with a deck that doesn't necessarily correspond to traditional reading styles, because in that way, it seems to me like you might have a little bit more flexibility in terms of how you read when you come to the different, like the different traditions. Like I read RWS, and I feel like even if I'm reading a deck that's like, you know, Marseille inspired or Thoth inspired, like it's the RWS, I'm still putting that on there, even if it's not intended, just out of, you know, what I know, what I've learned, and like what my base is.
That's it. That's it.
So we have, hold on just one second, guys. We had a question in here from Pamela McG, and she wants to know what is a go-to deck. So, Avalon, what is a go-to deck in your mind?
Oh, as in specifically, or what does a go-to deck actually mean? Because if we're talking about what it means a great all-rounder deck, like a deck that you can just pick up and you can read on a number of different subjects. It's not attuned to any particular kind of question and or energy, and it's just your pop it in your pocket, pop it in your car, take it on a trip. You can whip it out at any time and just approach any situation with that particular deck. That to me is a go-to deck. It's a great all-rounder. And there's
and I think they're like really specific to the reader, because I mean, I have go-to decks that you couldn't use, and you have ones that I probably couldn't use, and so not as a go-to deck.
Exactly right.
I mean,
yeah, I'd say for me personally, two that pop to mind to spring to, well, three actually. I can do three. The Druidcraft. I can read just about any question with the Druidcraft. What's it called? The Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot is another one. The Dame Darcy. And my absolute favorite for all-rounder readings is the Bonefire.
Nice.
Oh, yeah,
nice.
The Bonfire is a very pretty deck.
So we're going to do this for everybody because the audience wants to know what all of our go-to decks are. So I'll just tell mine real quick, and then Jessi, you can tell yours. I actually have all of mine near me. So I like to use the Wizard's Tarot. I use the Wizard's Tarot a lot. That's one of my go-tos. I have this one by Ciro Marchetti that I use all the time. Can't think of the name of it off the top of my head.
Legacy of the Divine. Legacy of the Divine.
Yes. That's it. And
You're
then
welcome.
I also, thank you. And then I also like to use the Tarot of the Vampire as a go-to deck. So it just depends on whether I'm feeling nice or not so nice. Which one is like, I will read. Okay, Jessi, your turn.
Okay, so go-to decks. My first one, I have two of them here. First one is, surprise, surprise, Wild Unknown. This is just really flexible. It just is for me. Like, it's just, I don't know, like, I didn't even want to get this deck. It was out for years, and I was just like, that is not, it doesn't resonate with me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read with it. I finally broke down and got it. I'm like, okay, get the hype. I understand it. The Wildwood Tarot. So, the Wildwood Tarot. You said Druidcraft, Avalon. I'm like, I know you're going to know what I'm talking about. It's so green, and even though it's so green and so incredibly pagan, I feel like you can read on any question with it. I can personally. Like, it doesn't, I'm not like going all nature in my interpretations, regardless. I just get really clear and direct messages from it. And then the traditional Rider-Waite, and it's just because for me, it's a really grounded deck. For me, like if I'm doing anything business-wise, like biz-wise, anything to do with money or finances, I'm going to go to this. But then you can also do like kind of love ones. You can go like do some shadow work. So a little boring, but it's the truth.
But it's not boring. I mean, it's so like with the Rider-Waite, the images are so simplistic and they're very in tuned with you. And so that's the point. Like the deck, your go-to decks are in tune with you, and that's really all that matters.
That's exactly right.
Well said. Well said.
I love all of your choices, all of them, especially the Wildwood. But I can't use the Wildwood as an all-rounder. I use it during autumn, winter, that autumn-winter period. That's my Wildwood time of the year.
Okay. A lot of people say that, and I can still roll with it. I'm finding that everything's cool with it, even though it's like we come into spring. I'm still vibrating with it, so it's pretty cool.
Can I ask a question just really quickly, Jessi? Do you live in a cold environment? Does it snow? Does it get really cold in your area?
It does. It gets cold. It snows. This year we didn't have that much snow. I live in the northeastern United States, so like 2 hours away from New York. So we definitely go through all the seasons in like your most traditional kind of pagan wheel of the year sense. So
Very
that's
nice.
kind of exciting. That's pretty cool. I enjoy going through all 4 seasons, but I'll tell you what, when winter's on its way out, I'm ready for it. I'm ready
to
for
leave.
it to go. I am so ready for it to leave. Oh my God. It snowed here like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? There's like a foot of snow outside. All of our flowers died. Like our magnolia blossoms got like crunched, and it was one of my favorite things I look forward to every year, and they were dead. I'm like, I had to like mourn for 3 days. Like, I'm just like, this is not happening this year. You can't tell the future. These are not for you. Better luck next year.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. See, I asked that question specifically because there is this thing here, because I live in the far north of Australia, like the very tip of Australia, and it's endless summer up here. Like okay. It's an endless summer, and the heat affects you in the same way as say the snow. Too much snow in your area, it's the same thing here with the sun. Like you can't go out, you're drained of your energy. And so for me, with that wildwood and with my choice of decks, like wildwood is very tied to the winter, because when I look at the images, it's that wintry sort of darker time. And I can't look outside my window and it's all like sunshine and like frying your ass off kind of heat, and then connect with the deck in that way. So
I can totally understand that.
Like it's so hot here. It's so hot.
It's like, this is not my life. This does not reflect my life.
It's not.
Okay. Do you guys want to do some impromptu readings? This is my favorite part.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, okay. What's everyone rocking?
I'm going to rock the Wild Unknown because these are the 2 that I have right here and already disappeared earlier.
Nice.
Wizard Tarot. But that's because I have Beautiful Creatures in frames and I'm not taking them out.
You've got it. You've got your deck. Fabulous. Now, question: should I go tarot or should I go oracle? Since everyone's using tarot, I feel like I should.
Wait a minute. Wait, just stop. Stop. Because anybody who watched like 4 years ago will know that this question would have never been asked. Because this woman never read Oracle and she hated it. And she was like, I will never read that.
I think it's weak. I think it's weak and it's I went on. Yeah.
The one divinatory system that I have the most, I guess you could say a love-hate relationship, is the Lenormand. I don't know why.
Really?
I mean, there are times where I hit the nail with it, and there are times where I am just way off. I feel like I'm playing Scrabble with it, So no, it's a very complex system.
Okay, Avalon, why don't you pull a tarot or an oracle deck? My bad, an oracle deck.
All right. I'll pull from the Earthbound Oracle then.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's got dead things in it.
All right, Joe, who wants what?
You know what I just thought? I mean, if I'm gonna end up reading with the 2nd edition of the Beautiful Creatures Tarot, there is a chance that everybody's gonna see the Lovers and the Devil card.
Could you maybe choose another one if it happens? If you want to keep it secret?
I like this.
Okay.
No. I'll just go ahead and I'll just go ahead and toss them out if they do appear.
See, let's get back to that conversation about the fates, the Wheel of Fortune, the taking control, and then the casting out. So let's just go back to the start and see how this rolls. I'm praying for a Lovers or a Death card. Oh, does anyone want to ask a question, or should we just pull for energy? If you don't have a question, we'll pull for energy. If you do have a question, please put it in capitals so that we can identify in the stream of conversation.
Okay. Is someone pulling first and then we go successively? Is that how we're going?
Let's go our guest
the lovely JR. You can pull first.
Okay, let's see. Look, just look
Something
at the
about
purple.
the new moon. Oh, dazzle, dazzle, sparkle, sparkle. Okay, so we have a new moon reading. Okay, so just pull something about the new moon, JR.
Okay, let us see. I mean, this the card stuck on this is very, very sturdy. It's going to be a bit difficult to shuffle, but it is very sturdy. So just throwing it out there.
I'm sold. Are you riffle shuffling your deck?
He is.
Yes, I am. I'm old school. You know, poker playing, gambling.
Oh my gosh. Like nails on a chalkboard.
Oh, I love it. I riffle shuffle too, and I love it.
I granny shuffle. I
got the
think
bridge.
you will one day get
It's so good when you bridge a deck of cards. Like,
oh, if I'm playing poker, I do. That's what I like let loose. But right now, I'm thinking you will one day be in a museum. You will one day be in a museum.
when I bridge shuffle, I feel like I'm just working out my hands or wrists. So.
Oh, I'm not gonna even go there, man. Oh Lord.
Oh my gosh.
Non. Très mauvais, madame. Tu es très mauvais.
C'est bon. Ne t'inquiète pas.
Oui, Jessie, tu me comprends bien. Tu me comprends quand tu veux parler français.
Je ne comprends.
Hey, Jessie, I got an idea. Now we can talk smack behind their backs in French, and I'm joking.
No.
That's what I gotta say.
Oh my god!
Don't. There'll be the English translations under our shins, just English translations. So.
And it won't make any sense. No. All right, my card jumped out, so my shuffle is done.
My shuffle is done.
All
okay,
right.
let's see. So.
Right. New moon.
Okay. Let's see. I got the 3 of Wands.
Ooh.
Patience.
Yesterday.
Yeah, this card talks about patience. It is a time to let things prosper. It is a time to be patient, to find the ability to let things grow. Do not rush things. A little bit of patience goes a long way, and being patient can also be a valuable lesson. That's my take on it.
I love it. I agree.
Beautiful. All right, who wants to go next? Jess, why don't you go next?
I pulled the High Priestess, and this is the second time that I've pulled this card for myself today. So I think this is a really strong message to look within. As the new moon is indicative of intention setting, it's starting a new cycle and of trying to get your thoughts together as far as what you would like to manifest leading up to the full moon. And in terms of the High Priestess, I think that the card is asking us to make sure that our intentions are in line with our intuition, are in line with our highest good, and in line with that part of ourselves that's not necessarily fully logical in scope or in nature, but is much more intuitive, much more primal, is much more hard to explain to others, but it's just this deep sense of knowing. So as we create our intentions for this moon cycle, it's important to make sure that we are paying attention to that aspect of self that isn't all in the head, that isn't all logic focused and what makes sense, to really listen to our gut and make sure that we incorporate that and hold space for that and make room for that.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
All right, Avalon, it's me or you.
No, it's you because I've got Oracle, so I can be the sugar. I can be the sugar at the end of the
Be the sugar at the end of the hard lessons. Got it.
Sounds
Okay.
sweet.
Okay, so this is the one that jumped out of my deck. This is the Six of Wands out of the Wizards Tarot. This card is about victory, for one. So as the new moon comes in, you're completing a full cycle. There's victory to be had. But I also really get a feeling of community off of this card. So with the new moon, we need to be communing with like-minded people, people that think like us, believe like us, are supportive in what we want, and just back us 100%, which goes with what Jessi and JR were saying. You got to have patience and you have to get out of your head and you have to do this from the gut. So that's what my card is about. Avalon.
I have got abundance.
I love that card.
Perfect.
I know. So as we're edging into the new moon, and we've got a lot of Aryan energy in the sky as well, I think it's really important to take initiative on only those things that really matter. So you can use the Empress to really dig deep, and you can use the practicality of the Three to really, solidify what it is that you want, right? And so bringing in these elements, these fusions, whether they be astrological or just purely of the new moon, you can assist in the weaving of something that can create a sense, a real, true, and grounded sense of abundance in your life. And now abundance, depending on how you personally perceive this to be, is the focus and the acceptance of experiences that you can and feel ready to build upon. And so when opportunities come your way, then really assess from that inner place, using the energy of the High Priestess, if it's a yes or a no, and you'll feel it in your gut if it's a yes or a no. And if it is a yes, then pour your energy in that direction. Be practical about it, really go for it. Use tribe around you to assist you in creating something that's much more expansive than you can uniquely create on your own. And then watch as things begin to innately flourish for you in a very unique to you way.
Yeah, and wait, while we're on that topic and we're talking about all these cards together, being that it was 2 wands, a major arcana, and then an oracle that all are talking about patience and community and victory and abundance and starting things, this is a good time for any new projects. If you've been thinking about a spiritual business, time to assess like what you really want out of it, what you want to do, if you want to do it, finding the right people to come around you, because the wands are a lot about, entrepreneurship and starting new things like that. So this is a really good time. And especially with Aries, with the moon being in Aries, it's all about you. So focus on that.
Yes. I like that. I like that rising to leadership aspect of Aryan energy, and that forward thinking and that ambition and drive and directive. Like it's sweet.
It is sweet. Aries
and this
people
is what
dauntless.
happens. Yeah, and this is what happens when you get 4 witches together. Their shit like syncs up. It's kind of like women on their period. Like I don't even know.
Abundance.
Oh man.
I've got a bloody pomegranate here.
I know, and it's amazing.
My tarot deck is all.
Such a crone fruit.
Speaking about period and women and bloody pomegranates, my tarot deck is full of women. I think I've suffered enough. No, I'm joking. No, they're beautiful.
Oh my God.
Thank you for showcasing us so beautifully.
You're welcome.
I love it. Well, folks, does anybody have any questions for the beautiful JR before we wrap this episode of Spread the Switches up? And let it flow. Yes, let it flow. Does anyone have any questions for our beautiful guest? And I just must say, JR, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to converse with you. It's just so wonderful to have the opportunity to hear you speak about your creation, in your own words, in this very personal setting. And, you know, as a tarot lover and a tarot creator myself, I got a tremendous a lot out of our conversations. And I think that you are an astounding individual, and you have done incredibly well for yourself. And I can just see so much beauty and accomplishment in your future. Not using my cards, that's just my own personal take.
Well, also before we wrap, I mean, I just wanted to share that I am working on two or three more tarot decks. There are 3 more. Yes, I'm working. And when I found out about you, Avalon, that you're from Australia, I am working with an Australian illustrator on an oracle deck. And
that's wonderful.
Yes, it is. I mean, I cannot give away so much, but the illustrator, she is just brilliant. She is just fantastic. And the oracle deck that we're working on, it is very, very, very rich in culture.
Oh,
very
fabulous.
rich in culture. So, and her name is Sharon McLeod, and I think she illustrated the Bohemian Animal, I believe, tarot. I don't know if you've heard it, but she's just she's just fantastic. I mean, the way she draws, I mean, she's like up there with Jasmine, like the way that I see her. And when I offered her the project, she said, you know what, even though I am not from that culture, I've always admired that culture, so I'm going to do that oracle deck with you because of that culture.
Wow,
that's
I'm
amazing.
intrigued.
That's really cool.
I'm very intrigued.
I mean, it is going to be maybe like a 52 oracle card deck, and there's going to be four bonus cards, so it'll end up being a 56 oracle deck. So, and it will be published in Australia, hopefully by Animal Dreaming, or is it Dreaming? Scott's going to kill me, but I think it's Animal Dreaming or Dreaming Animal, the Australian publisher. I mean, and they are anticipating it. But prior to that one, I am also working on I'm already done on my second tarot deck, which is going to be a horror deck. Nothing to do with the Beautiful Creatures Tarot. No parallel there. It's going to be just utter sheer. I mean, I've posted pictures on my Facebook page, and they're telling me, how did you go from bubbly and cute to macabre and sadistic? But and it's like I tell a lot of creators, it's like, don't just stay stuck or pigeonholed on one thing. Explore other varieties, other themes, other concepts. You might end up liking one of them. So that is my advice to creators.
Yeah, and that goes for readers as well. I mean, I know people who stick to light decks all the time, and you will never grow and expand if you don't try. And that goes back to what Avalon was saying. People, it takes work, and people don't want to do the work, unfortunately.
That is true.
You have to fall in love with the tarot. It's 78 cards, and there's so much attached to the tarot. It's such a heavy subject, depending on how it's being depicted. I was listening to Rachel Pollack talk about this. There's the heavy occult way of working with tarot, and then there's the light intuitive way, and then somewhere in the middle, around the time of Mary Kate Greer and Rachel Pollack, came the modern way of reading tarot, which is a melding of both of those systems. And so it's deciding which approach you're going to take and then going with it. It's if you don't have a love for it and you're not resonating, you can't force that shit.
No, it's going to be tedious, and it's going to be, you're not going to resonate with it at all. Just like you were saying, it's going to be like work. It's going to be like schoolwork that you hated, whatever your least favorite subject was, if it isn't something that just draws you in.
Yep.
Yeah, it has to. To me, I've always believed that a tarot has to be a calling. You have to be called to it. Sometimes the tarot will call you, but only if you're ready to learn and to work with it. Otherwise, then just stay away from it. It's like I tell people, like, if you're really passionate about tarot, you will feel it. It'll just come naturally. But as you all said, you can't force that stuff. You can't really force yourself to like tarot when you're a skeptic, to like tarot when you just think in logic. So that is, and I've known a lot of logic people, a lot of skeptics, and I tell them, like, if you think that way, then what are you doing reading tarot? It's like you're just proving it to see if it's real.
But I will say to that, though, there are skeptics that have sat down to a reading by me just to make a point that it wasn't real, and then they got their ass handed to them because the cards told on them, and so they left being like, oh shit, this is real. And I'm like, yeah, I told you.
The best moment. The oh shit, this is real moment. That's always a fun one.
It makes me so
with my
happy.
husband's family, honestly.
Also, are any of you thinking of creating a tarot deck in the future?
I know
I'm in the process of
Avalon
creating
is.
one. Yeah, I'm doing one right now. I'm in the middle of it.
I would write a book. I don't know. I'm not that great of an artist to, well, I won't say that. I mean, like, I can do graphic art, but I'm not really good at like painting or whatever. So, but I can write. I know that writing is a big part of my path. But
one thing that I've always I've always advised, other creators is that if you want to make your tarot deck authentic and real, add people in your life into the tarot deck. Write about people in your life, and you just make a more deeper connection, which is what I did with the Beautiful Creatures Tarot. I incorporated stories from my personal experience and from my loved ones who went through hard times. I incorporate their stories in the book. So, like, for example, in this card, the addiction. I mean, this is a bit intimate. This is a bit personal, but for this card, if you read the companion book, it talks about being addicted, drugs, and so forth. I did have a friend who was a drug addict and had to go to rehab, and so the devil card is based on him. I based his experience on the devil. On the devil card. So I guess, to people, and like, for example, I know you've all seen I believe you've seen, well, in the first edition, there's the nymphs, which are like the little girls with this one right here. Well, I mean, they're actually there's 4 women in my life. They're not girlfriends, they're family. For example, this one in it, the blonde woman, that's my mother. This one's my baby sister, my younger sister. I see her in this card, pale skin, beautiful eyes, dark hair. This one, I see my sister Jessica in it, olive skin, dark hair. And my paternal grandmother, who's in spirit.
Oh, wow.
The gray hair, the gray hair, the red flowers, and she loved red. She've always loved red flowers, red everything. So I incorporated those women the cards, and they appear. I know they're there. So
that's a good tip for sure.
I love that.
That's beautiful. Oh, that's a really nice little inclusion of information there. Thank you for that. I think that creates a bit of a heart-to-heart too with the images being connected. That's beautiful. I loved your grandma one. It just touched my heart. All right, folks, we are at that time now. We've been on here for an hour and a half, essentially, and I think we've covered some really beautiful things. So, JR, when is your deck looking to be released at the moment? I know we just talked about pre-orders before for autographed copies, but when is it going to go out for mass, not production, but for mass buying, I guess?
For mass release date, it's late April, early May.
Early May.
April, early May.
So
early
just
May,
in time
like around
for
the
Beltane.
8th.
Beltane, Samhain.
Yes. Always remember us in the South.
Yes. I've gotten better at that. I've gotten better at that.
I know.
That's beautiful. So we can all look forward to this release. It's being released by Schiffer. We have a release date. We also have a what do you call it? We have a pre-release date for autographed copies, and we have lots of new little changes to look forward to within that deck. We've heard the story of the creator, and we're so impressed, of course, JR, that you are working with the legendary, what's her name? I now forgot.
Jasmine Beth Griffith. You're fired.
Had a brain moment then. Jasmine Becker Griffith, who I honestly have all of her decks, and and I'm a big fan. So you are working with tremendous artwork there that is so unique and so beautiful, and you've managed to weave together something so unique. So congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. I guess this has been the funnest interview show that I've participated in. So I had a lot of fun.
Oh yay!
I had a lot of fun. I mean, I'm not saying that the other ones were bad, but I guess this one I just
yes, you are.
Like,
I take it.
I just want to thank.
With this one, I just let loose, and I didn't even need vodka to help me out. So I mean, that's a good sign.
I just want to thank Allorah and Avalon for also helping me, for inviting me to do the relaunch. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thanks
really,
for joining
it has
us,
been
Jessi.
It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been amazing to speak with all of you, and I really appreciate you including me. It was so much fun.
Well, trust me, girl,
and it's so
I've been watching your videos since I came back, and you are on, like, your stuff is so resonating to me. I'm like, where's the next video? Where's the next video?
Yay! Oh, that's so awesome to hear. Soon, usually Wednesdays, so soon.
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting. Well, it's so nice. It's always nice to be able to hang out in a more personal, I guess, interactive style setting with with people that you just admire, that you watch on screen, whose products you utilize. And it's so nice to be able to connect that, just to connect a little bit more and to give that opportunity out to others who would like to do the same. So it's good stuff. So this is Spread This Witches Reboot. We've got beautiful people coming our way. We would love to talk to you again in future, JR. You've been such a joy to speak with, and so lock us in future, okay?
Oh well, and I just hope that this won't be the last time we hang out and have this, kind of fun. I look forward to hanging out with you guys. And Allorah.
And when that Oracle deck comes out, you better come right to us and be like, hey, guys.
When the horror deck comes out, I'm gonna be,
every day. Every day.
All of it.
Every single day. Every single day until you all block me on Facebook. So that's how annoying. I just want to say thank you, Allorah, for inviting me, for approaching me. I mean, it's been a while that I haven't done an interview. Like, I think it's been a year already that I haven't done an interview. And I mean, you approached me, and thank you for approaching me. And this is, like I said, this is the most fun I've had in a long time. So.
Oh, yay!
Yay! Well, it was our pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Sure.
I mean, and I love anything that's uncensored,
Yes.
Well, you are in the right place.
Right place. All right, beautiful people, let's wrap it up. It's so nice to have you all join us. Thank you for those who have sat through the entire hangout and asked questions and engaged. We have been reading along with you. We've seen a few of the exchanges. We've responded where we could. We could probably be a bit better at that in the next one. But this is our little trial run. So let's see how the next one goes. And sending you all so much love. So say your farewells, folks.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.